Hi everyone, this is Huzefa Motiwala. I'm the Director for Systems Engineering, Palo Alto Networks India and SAARC, discussing about safeguarding microfinance banking from cyber threats as part of our joint forum with Banking Frontiers and Palo Alto Networks.
The Reserve Bank of India has recently strengthened the regulatory standards for microfinance banks and is taking a firm stance on enforcing its master directions. What are your thoughts on the potential impact of these changes on the microfinance sector in India?
Key focus areas of the IT governance and the Master Act that RBI is enforcing, and that includes primarily 5 areas. One is strategic alignment. How are we aligning from an overall business alignment and governance alignment perspective? Second is around the entire aspect of risk management. And in this, right, there's a certain element of IT risk and then cybersecurity risk as part of it. Resource management. How are you, ensuring that there is enough capacity and capability out there? Performance management is the fourth one, ensuring that you're giving in terms of what is the outcome required from a consumer perspective. And finally, most importantly, business continuity and disaster recovery management, right? Ensuring that the business uptime is maintained. So if you look at all of these 5 areas, I think RBI has done a good job of touching key areas, which it is already implying in some of the other larger banks in the country. These strengthening, according to me, has a very significant shift in the regulatory landscape of the microfinance sector. And largely, I feel they are very positive, but there is a challenging implication also for the microfinance sector. And allow me to elaborate on that. From a positivity impact perspective, I think this will lead to a lot more enhanced stability, right? Because of the regulatory standards coming in a lot more stricter manner. This ensures that the stability and sustainability of the microfinance bank is maintained, and the risk or the over-indebtedness is taken under control, ensuring a very responsible lending practice is what I feel is number one. Second, I think from a governance perspective, this will help promote better governance practices in the MFIs, including some very, very stronger risk management framework. It has actually gone ahead and put in some very, very good process, people, technology aspect of it, including some transparency and accountability. I think this will instill a lot more greater confidence among the investors, regulators, borrowers. And finally, I think for the consumers, I think this will mean a lot more better protection, right, for the microfinance borrowers, including some very fair lending practices, transparency, especially in terms of data. Now with the DPDP Act coming in, the whole data confidentiality and all that will have a very, very good impact, I feel. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an insightful evening presented by Banking Frontiers, titled Safeguarding Microfinance Banking from Cyber Threats, in association with our esteemed knowledge partner, Palo Alto Networks, and our industry association partner, Sa-Dhan and FIDC. We are thrilled to have you all here for what promises to be an enriching experience. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Vikramjit Singh, partner at Cybersecurity from KPMG, to share some insights on the macro view.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So I'm not using any slides today for a change, consultant without a slide. So the request that we wanted to set a tone for what we are going to discuss. I'm safely assuming while the hard copies are here, but then you would have already received copy of this circular, you would have gone through. So from setting the context, what I'm trying to do is taking you back to a journey, which is human life. And what I'm trying to correlate is what we really try to protect as our possession has changed significantly. And then you might have appreciation why we have a lot of focus on information security, etc. So that's a story I'm trying to build through next few minutes. And then we'll try to also bring some perspective on when we say we are talking about digital, why we are talking about digital transformation as well as digital security, which is referred as cyber as a keyword. We are trying to address 4 key areas here today, which are here. And of course, we'll discuss more and deliberate I am sincerely hoping, basis your inputs, we wouldn't cover some use cases that you believe need to be addressed. Of course, we can all share our views, experiences, and then we'll go richer when we go out of this room. Thank you.
Now, it is the time for the highlight of the evening. Any guesses? No. The unconferencing session. This is where the real magic happens for interactive table discussions. Each table will be led by a designated leader, and we encourage lively participation and exchange of ideas. So let's start with the unconferencing session.
Gather some other insight. I have nothing new to share. He gets to hear the okay, so it is second, be ready to bounce back if really this is an integrated.
Thank you all for coming and participating. I think all the tables are very excited, a lot of action.
Excellent. So I will, this discussion, if it comes down to cyber, especially in the cloud, is very relevant because ITSM processes, controls, absolutely starts falling down because the cloud is not in IT control. To be fair, I mean, we can always claim it is in IT control, but it's actually in developers' control. So that basically means you can't rely on the traditional means, the process control. And the reason people went to the cloud is to bypass IT. To be fair, that's the summary. And they can put whatever justification, scale, business, and all those things. But the idea was to bypass IT controls. So you can't be using the traditional means to do ITSM or any kind of process control. Cloud gives developers the ability to do all the beautiful things that they like. It also enables cybersecurity and IT team to do the same thing. It's just that you can't be using the tool that I was using 10 years back, 20 years back, maybe 5 years back that I was using. There are new generations of capabilities available to do the discovery. I think the crown jewel question is, where does the data lie in the cloud? Is it in the VM? Is it in the container? Is it in the managed databases? Is it in the AI model that some developer is working on, or the marketing team is using it to learn some stuff so that he can mine it for something? That itself becomes a problem. And that's the problem of the cloud when you bring it to the way you described it, correct? So you need a way to automatically, continuously discover the resources and obviously assign risk around it based on various criteria, whether it's a PII data or consumer data, whether it is exposed to the internet, whether it is exposed to any application. You can't do it manually. That manual process control goes away. And if you know the CI/CD development cycle, the rate of the change that they are demanding is so different, and you can't have. So the new gen capabilities which are coming for the cloud, and by the way, the CI/CD typically comes in cloud native or container native. Those are totally different. So process control, you need to offload it to an automated control. You can't be having the Excel sheet-based controls that we used to have. And that's a genuine challenge every bank is going through, every IT company is going through. I'm sure what you are describing and the team is talking about is exactly the same. The fact remains that you can't be using the old tools now. So that's the learning everyone is going through.
So KPMG's perspective on this, because you do solutioning, right?
Yeah, so, and it's not KPMG perspective, as in we do it for money. So I can share my personal perspective. And when I spoke there, so there are very, very good models available, not KPMG IP also. As in, if you look at MITRE attack model, there are numerous models available how an attack happens. I gave a very simplified version, 4 stages of an attack. They would want to look for a weak surface, the threat surface, that a technical word that we use. They would then try to compromise something, get inside. 3rd stage, privilege escalation. 4th stage, stealing data. So those are 4 stages. And if you are wanting to create a structure, you need to critically analyze how do I plug all 4 of them? And essentially, the thinking is, and of course, this is easier said than done. You need to analyze your business. And and for all of you to refer, we are saying, and someone asked in that room, on that table, the server inside the data center, server in the cloud. Look, I think that decision would lie on your, where you are, what kind of business you are conducting. But then, if you look at digital transformation as a thought process, there's a beautiful business canvas model available. Any business can be organized as 9 subsets. Essentially, any business. You would have your cost structure, your profit structure, your customers, customer segmentation, your employees. So those are 9 segments. What you need to sit back and visualize is how are we conducting business, various activities in that. And then when you have listed that down, you know how information is flowing, where is it going. The way people would operate, as in businesses will operate, we have a choice whether we want to go sit cozy in a dock, not operate, or whether we want to go operate, flourish. For flourishing, you would need to adopt some of these technologies. The choice is yours.
Thank you so much to all the panelists for joining us on stage. Thank you so much.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an insightful evening presented by Banking Frontiers, titled Safeguarding Microfinance Banking from Cyber Threats, in association with our esteemed knowledge partner, Palo Alto Networks, and our industry association partners, Sa-Dhan and FIDC. We are thrilled to have you all here today for what promises to be an enriching experience. I am Anchor Nandini Arvindan, and it's my privilege to be your host for this evening. Before we delve into our discussions, I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you here on behalf of Banking Frontiers, and I thank you for joining us addressing the critical issue of cybersecurity in microfinance banking. Well, to kickstart this beautiful evening, I would like to welcome and invite our keynote speaker, Mr. Karthikeyan Dayalan from KPMG, to share the insights on the macro view. Over to you, sir. Welcome. And a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, all. I don't know how it has set it up. Today, I'm sure many of you would have seen the news about the Kotak Banks issue, where RBI sent a regulation debarring them from taking any more customers. And there were 6 items that they had quoted. First is IT governance, their IT inventory, cybersecurity issues, particularly data loss events, disaster recovery, and assurance, which is exactly what this particular forum is about. We are going to discuss exactly that. And it's so apt that regulation comes on the same day that we are discussing about it. A bank like Kotak, which is considered to be one of the biggest private sector banks, is facing these issues. So microfinance organizations are going to have the same challenges. Though all of these organizations are competitors in the core field, that doesn't need to be the same in terms of the defender aspect. You can still collectively work together. Bottom line is, spend what is needed in terms of security, not more, not less. And how do I know what is needed? Is proper risk assessment and validating what I should protect against. Thank you.
And as sir said, we are going to be doing this most engaging part of this evening. So we have Dr. Subbu from Banking Frontiers, who's going to moderate this session, along with Mr. Sujit Nair from Palo Alto Networks. Mr. Sujit Nair, the manager, Prisma Cloud Solutions Architecture, India and SARC. And we also have Mr. Karthikeyan Dayalan, KPMG. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for participating in the roundtable. Thanks for nominating leaders. So now, Sujit, I have a question for you, right? From your company's perspective and your experience, what is the importance of IT governance framework in banking, microfinance, NBFC, etc., and smaller players also?
So Before I get on to the IT governance part of it, right, I want to touch upon one important fact, right? While we talk about BCP, the DR practice and everything, right, usually everything is built around three things: application, your compute resources, the infrastructure, and the network, right? But one of the most essential component of any business continuity is security, okay? There as such is not a framework around saying that if there is a BCP drill happening, how do you make sure that there is an equal security test coming into play, which tells that a certain amount of risk when they come in, can it impact the availability of the application? So that is one, definitely a bigger aspect, which I feel that, you know, is still a neglected area on from a BCP point of view. On the governance side, right, a lot of governance that we talk about today is predominantly built basically on the facts of how do you make sure that the infrastructure or the resources or the apps that are deployed are secure from the right kind of guardrails.
Very nice. Well put. Sir, I won't ask about audit. It's not fair. Give your perspective on ITSM because it's a core business.
Yeah, absolutely. So ITSM, as you rightly said, 60% of the business is now IT enabled, and it's only increasing, both at the customer side as well as in the back office side. And one of the major beneficiaries of cloud adoption is continuous assessment, which was never there in a on-premise environment. We talked about once in a year assessment or a half-yearly assessment. But the moment you move into cloud, it's a real-time continuous assessment on the IT aspect of it, not on the process side of it. Process is still at this moment manual. People do assessment on a half-yearly basis or when there is a major change that happens in the whole process. But the process of looking at a Super Tuesday patch update or a monthly vulnerability assessment and then cycling across with different teams to do the patch updates, vulnerability management, all these are now taken care by the cloud adoption model. CSPM, CNAPs are making it real time so that you don't have to spend a huge amount of human manpower on IT hygiene, which is taken care by the cloud service providers. So that's a big adoption that MFIs can adopt as they migrate to cloud, and have that as one of the key factors when they choose the right security provider in terms of cloud. So that's my viewpoint.
Very good perspective. And actually the response time required for an attack is becoming into nanoseconds.
Correct.
It's no longer you can wait for 2-3 days because after that there's no business.
Exactly.
Right. There's no
Yes.
business actually.
Yes.
So I think that's what you guys have to take back to your board or some senior management to listen. That's a reality of life today.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. And thanks to the panelists, our leaders as well, and thanks to the facilitators, Mr. Sujit Nair and Mr. Karthikeyan as well, and thanks to the moderator, Dr. Subbu. Thank you very much.